Our Mahjong crossover Cheongsam video is very much appreciated by our audience. We would like to expand this crossover concept into a series. This time, we will examine where Mahjong and architecture share in common. Hope this will help you to deepen your understanding of these two important expressions of human culture. A Mahjong tiles comes in a standard ratio of 3:4 for its width and height, with a depth ratio of 2.5. Despite the tiles can come in different sizes, the ratio generally doesn't change. It makes them very good for packing and stacking. This may also be the reason why kids like to play with them as building blocks. Its sizes, though it may be larger in China and Southeast Asia and smaller in places like Japan and Taiwan, are generally very handy. They can be shuffled and stacked into walls, and 4 walls enclose a square in the center, which is literally called by the Chinese a square castle. In architecture, modular size is a very important concept. Bricks and blocks comes in a handy size that can be handled by a single man. Their standard proportions allow them to be laid in different patterns to form walls, and the walls then form the enclosures of buildings. In old buildings, these walls could also be part of the structure that bears the load of roof, floor, and people. In architecture, building construction is very much affected by technology. With stronger machinery and power, units of much bigger size and heavier weight can now be lifted. Buildings composed of modules of room sizes were built by some avant-garde architects in the early years. Today, this type of construction could become mainstream. The whole rooms can be built off-site as prefabricated units and then brought to sites to compose building like Lego blocks. We name this type of construction Modular Integrated Construction, MIC. It's seen as a more environmental way of building construction, as it creates less dust, noise, and waste. It also allows workers to work in a more pleasant factory environment and in better workflow that allow quality control easier. Apart from the modular design, Mahjong and architecture also share similar development in the uses of materials. The earliest Mahjong was made in natural material like bamboo and bone. More prestigious ones could be in ivory or even jade. Parts were put together by mechanical joints. This gives the signature look of a dovetail joints between the bone face and bamboo back appearing at the side of early Mahjong. Similarly, in architecture, the earliest buildings were also built out of natural materials like timber, bamboo, stone, or burnt mud and clay. They were assembled and held in place by mechanical joints like dovetail, turn and groove, and dowel. To identify the tiles, graphics and characters were painted on the tile faces. However, this surface painting will not endure wear and tear. To make the markings last longer, the surface were engraved to hold the paint. This process requires good workmanship, and craftsmen take years to learn the skillful system of apprenticeship. In architecture, we see similar working method and system. Buildings were decorated with engraving and paint. Builders pick up their skills over many years by learning from their masters, which in Chinese are called sifu. With the invention of new synthetic materials like plastic and glue, the way Mahjong and building are made is totally revolutionized. Now Mahjong is mostly made by casting plastic into molds with built-in relief of the graphics. Even the process of installing paint onto the grooves could now be automated. In building, synthetic materials like steel, concrete, plastic, and resins have opened up many options for architects in designing their buildings. The availability of silicon, adhesive, and glues make things blend seamlessly together without the need for any mechanical joints or fixing. The development of computer-aided design and manufacturing process like laser-cut CNC machines further make the tailored design, intricate details, and production in small quantity feasible and viable. Apart from the making process, both Mahjong and architecture reflect our relationship with the cosmos. Players in the Mahjong games are seated in a cardinal arrangement with each place named after the 4 orientations of east, south, west, and north. In buildings, we do not need to explain how important these 4 directions are in the design of the buildings. Generally, people in the northern hemisphere prefer to face south for the warmer winter sunlight and hate the west direction for the built-up heat in the summer evening. Both games and architecture reflect very much the culture of a place. Chinese seems to have a much bigger tolerance for noise. And the word "eat loud," which literally means hot and noisy, are seen as signs of happiness and prosperity. That is why the Mahjong game is very much liked, and in particular at the time of celebration and reunion, like Chinese New Year. In Chinese vernacular architecture, in many regions, people live around central courtyard spaces, like big families, and share many amenities. Privacy seems much less an issue for the Chinese than its Western counterpart. Hope you now know more about Mahjong and architecture. And if you think the way we compare Mahjong with other things does help you to learn more, please let us know and I will prepare more videos in this direction.